This is one among several Israeli shells that have landed in South Lebanon since the war between Tel Aviv and Hamas started following the armed group's attack on the Jewish country on October 7. Hezbollah, a powerful Lebanese armed group, too has fired rockets and artillery targeting Israel. Amid escalating tit-for-tat clashes between Israeli forces and Hezbollah, civilians are the silent sufferers who are paying a high price on both sides of the border. In the last few days, more than 4,200 people have been displaced from villages in South Lebanon amid clashes on the border, even as the country faces dire economic conditions.
الحياة بالمرة غلا لا تسألين قد في غلا مش قادرين نعيش فوق ما احنا عنا مثلا الغلا هاي كوجوع كمان حرب فوق مو ناقصنا.
Israel, on the other hand, reported some 200,000 people being internally displaced, mostly from the Gaza and Lebanon border areas, since the Hamas attack, as per a report by the Times of Israel citing Israeli authorities. The Benjamin Netanyahu-led Israeli government has ordered the evacuation of more villages near the northern border with Lebanon, amid fear that the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza could ignite other regional confrontations. However, the scale of the displacement in Lebanon or Israel does not compare with that in Gaza, where an estimated 1 million Palestinians have been displaced and over 4,000 killed, including children, amid ongoing intense aerial bombardment launched by Israel after the October 7 attack by Hamas, which left 1,400 Israelis dead. While Hezbollah, an ally of the Palestinian armed group Hamas, has been warning Israel that it will get involved in the Gaza war if Israeli forces invade the already besieged enclave in a ground offensive.
كلما تتالت الأحداث ونشأ ما يستدعي أن يكون تدخلنا أكبر فسنفعل ذلك.
Israel has been warning against it.
אם חיזבאללה יחליט להיכנס למלחמה, הוא יתגעגע למלחמת לבנון השנייה. הוא יעשה את טעות חייו. ואנחנו נכה בו בעוצמה שהוא לא יכול אפילו לדמיין. והמשמעות לו ולמדינת לבנון היא הרסנית. אבל אנחנו ערוכים לכל תרחיש.
In the south of Lebanon, where Israeli strikes have led to the killing of at least 22 people, including a journalist and some Hezbollah fighters, many of those displaced are staying in schools. Among the school's temporary residents is Mustafa Tahini, whose house in the border town of Ida al-Shab was destroyed in 2006 along with most of the village, who says that the clashes on the border aren't reassuring.
بتمنى انها تروق يعني بس الاشياء اللي عم من خلال الاخبار مبينه ما بتطمن يعني لانه الصهاينه مش مهدين البال من الاخر يعني شايف التجزير اللي عم بيصير بغزه يعني مش حرب هيدا تطهير عرقي هيدي آلة الحرب الصهيونية اللي ما بتميز بين المقاتل وبين الطفل بس كيف؟ فهودي بتوقع منهم الواحد كل شيء لأنه ما بيعملوا حساب لأي حدا.
For many of the displaced, the current tensions bring back memories of the brutal one-month war between Hezbollah and Israel in 2006, during which Israeli bombing leveled large swaths of the villages in South Lebanon and in Beirut's southern suburbs. Nazmi Srouer, a 62-year-old from the Lebanese town of Duhera who was displaced in 2006, has been staying in the school with her husband and 2 daughters for a week, who haven't been able to go to school since the clashes broke out. Already, 52 of the 300 schools in South Lebanon are closed due to the hostilities, leaving more than 8,000 children out of education in addition to those enrolled in the schools that are now being used as shelters. A wider conflict would also threaten key infrastructure including electric supplies and, by extension, water supplies.
In any escalation, it's always the most vulnerable and the children who are dragged in a dire situation. And really we need to think of them. Lebanon is going through so many crises and difficulties, and we need to ensure that they could at least continue to go to school, at least continue to have proper health, immunization and support.
The school-turned shelters grapple with shortage of supplies as hundreds of newly displaced people arrive each day, while Lebanon's cash-strapped government struggles to meet the demands at these shelters.
لحد هلا أنا ما عندي ستوك إنه إذا إجا عدد نازحين إنه شو بدي أعطيهم. من هيك عم نناشد نحن المنظمات والدولة والمعنيين كلهم يخلقوا لنا ستوك قدامنا بحال تطور الوضع نقدر نعطي الناس إنه على الأقل الفرشة والحرام اللي بدهم يناموا عليه.
The pace of attacks between Israel and Hezbollah only appears to be intensifying with each passing day. On October 21st, the Israeli military said it had eliminated several squads of Hezbollah fighters trying to close in on Israeli positions and communities along the border with Lebanon, and that Israel had attacked Hezbollah assets, observation points, and military compounds across the border, including one from which a ground-to-air missile was fired at an Israeli drone. The claims, however, could not be independently verified. As violence escalates, observers fear that Hezbollah may open a new front against Israel at the behest of its leaders and their Iranian backers. While such a scenario may relieve pressure on Hamas and the beleaguered civilians in Gaza, it would be devastating for Lebanon as well as Israel, especially its civilians.